Okay, so here we are with another DC Multiverse unboxing, and this is The Flash from Dawn of DC. And here's a really nice piece of artwork on the back. And this is obviously the Wally West version of The Flash because it's the one from the recent Titans series that they did. So he's back in the classic Flash costume. Now I do have a few Flash figures from this line already. Oddly enough, one character that I don't have is Barry Allen. And most of the Flash figures I have so far are Wally West. But Wally is my favorite Flash, so that really shouldn't be any surprise. But I do have, of course, Jay Garrick, because I'm a big fan of Golden Age characters. And here's the first Flash figure that I got in this line, which was also a Walmart exclusive. And that's the Rebirth costume for Wally. And then I have Wally as Kid Flash, this poor goofy bastard. So easily the worst of these figures. So yeah, this is kind of a return to form. There's a lot of influence from Justice League animated in this costume design. We'll get to talking about that as soon as I have them out of the package. It's pretty much, standard DC Multiverse package we're used to. We can see its gold label. We know what that means. That means it's an exclusive. And I found this one at Walmart, so that's where to look for it if you're trying to find it. So let's go ahead and open them up. Here we go. I know, like, the last Walmart exclusives I saw would have been Damian and Owlman, and I didn't have a hard time finding those at all. And in fact, got extras of those, well, at least extras of Damian for customs when they went on clearance. And we can see that he's got a few accessories, a bunch of lightning bolts, and they're all held in with rubber tabs, of course. I'm just going to kind of power through them. But these should attach to them in various ways. I don't have any other lightning bolts handy to compare, but I would not be surprised if a lot of these are just kind of repops of lightning bolts that we've seen before. And in fact, I believe this figure, it looks like, to me at least, okay, this one's being a little tough. Do that. Most of this figure, I believe, is a reuse of the Rebirth Wally figure. What is this gummy stuff that's all over my... Is that adhesive from the tape? So that seems kind of excessive. All this gummy stuff all over my blade. So, but yeah, they like to have Flash come with all these lightning bolt accessories these days, since that's how they draw him in a lot of the modern comics, with lightning bolts coming off him as he runs. All right, now to cut out the completely useless rubber tabs that are holding him into the package, allegedly. Although I guarantee you, once I have them all cut, I'm still going to have to yank him out of the package, and it's still going to make a lot of noise. Because they're pointless. Okay, there, I got it. All right. And actually, that one did come up kind of smoothly. So maybe with this one, there might be a point to that. And we get him out of the package, and man, he is a cheerful-looking fellow. Just look at the big smile on his face. That's the smile of a man who had a very bad story arc redeemed. For whatever reason, a certain overhyped author thought it would be a good idea to turn Wally West into a serial killer or something, and that kind of killed DC Comics for me. I haven't really been reading DC Comics since. I was kind of starting to get out of it, like, a little before, because another certain writer. Oh wait, it was the same guy. Did that stupid storyline with Catwoman and Batman were going to get married. Nope, they're not. Never mind. Got everybody all hyped up for that. So that kind of is like a whole bunch of badness with DC Comics happened because of a certain writer. But yeah, he's a pretty cool figure. Again, he is pretty much from the neck down a reuse of the body from the Rebirth Wally West, but that's appropriate. I think it works. I bought extras of these because I actually had the intention of making Wally in the classic costume, but since they made this, I don't have to do that anymore. So I don't know what I'm going to wind up doing with those now. Oh well, let's set the figure aside for the moment because we've still got other stuff to go over. And the stand and the trading card are on two separate bubbles. And here we go with the figure stand. Every figure should come with a figure stand. And this is the standard DC Multiverse figure stand with the glossy black logo embossed on there. And then we have a trading card. Let's see if we can get the trading card off without too much damage. And it's the same lovely piece of artwork that we saw on the back. That's what the back of the card looks like. And here's the bio. The Flash, Dawn of DC. Real name, Wally West. His name is Wally West. Well, gee, thanks. He was the fastest man alive. From Kid Flash to the Flash, from accidental killer to pilot of Metron's Mobius chair. Wally has lived one of the strangest lives of any speedster, traversing multiple planes of existence and to find his way home. So, okay. Yeah, that whole Heroes in Crisis storyline was stupid and never should have happened. So yeah, this figure is almost entirely, like I said, from the neck down, almost entirely a reuse of this previous Wally West Flash. The only difference that I can see, other than the head, is the left hand, where we can see like this is kind of like almost like a gesturing kind of left hand, and this one is entirely splayed open. The head sculpts don't even look like the same guy, even though allegedly they are. But of course, the original Rebirth one had kind of a dour expression on his face, and this one, like I said, he's just so cheerful. He's just so happy. I think they might have made his lips a little dark, just a little bit. And you can see that this one has like almost kind of like more of a Batman cowl at the nose, where the nose is covered up, as opposed to how the Flash's nose is usually a little more exposed. It also kind of reminds me a lot of the old Flash TV series starring John Wesley Shipp back in the 90s. I really enjoyed that show, so that's a nice little homage. I like that. And comparing the other Wally heads, yeah, see this one, these two, the head sculpts look like they could be the same guy, even though he started parting his hair on the wrong side. And this one is noticeably older looking than the Kid Flash one, but again, that's appropriate because, you know, Kid Flash versus just the Flash. So, and even though this had the cowl open at the top, like Kid Flash, he was still just called the Flash when he was wearing that uniform. So I like the colors, really bright fire engine sort of red, really bright yellow, which has like a slight metallic sheen to it, at least on the gloves and the belt and the emblem and the earpieces, which are not, you know, they don't look like they're glued on crooked on this one, which is good. But this one did look like it get a little warped in the package. But I'm sure that'll straighten itself out. I probably won't even have to hair dry it. It'd probably like be one of those things where like just not on its own. It's such a thin piece of plastic. So let's go over his articulation. The Flash can look up about that far. He can look down about that far. All the way around. It's on this neat little ball joint, so you can move it in and around in all kinds of different ways. Arms rotate all the way around the shoulder. Arms move up about that far. They are on a butterfly joint, so he can push his arm forward about that far and bend them backwards about that far. So we got the nice Mcfarlane torso articulation, a little articulation at the waist and at the rib cage. and we can move him around in all kinds of crazy poses, get him in all kinds of dramatic positions. That'll be good for running later. Legs can kick up about that far. Really good range of motion for a Mcfarlane Multiverse figure. He does have the rubber trunk pieces. Those do kind of hinder it slightly, but it seems like they're a little softer even than usual, so it does move around a little bit more. But you want to take care that it doesn't because I noticed that tends to happen. Double jointed knees bend up about that far. The ankles point down about that far, point up about that far. They are on the Mcfarlane ball joints. They move all around different various ways. I don't know why I'm having a hard time talking right now. Ball joint at the wrist too, since I didn't mention that before. Oh, and double jointed elbows. That's about the range of motion of the elbows. He does have a bicep swivel. The bicep rotates all the way around, but it does seem like it's a little hindered. It just kind of bumps into the sculpt a little bit. I'm not sure why, but you know, it moves enough. We can still get him into like a really good running position. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to cock his arm all the way back like that. This one I'm going to put forward with the splayed open hand. I think that'll work really well for that. And twist the waist around this way because you want to have the opposite leg from the opposite arm as far as how he's running. Bend that knee joint. And there he goes. Pretty cool. Yeah, I really like this figure. You will notice that he has some peg holes on his forearm and on his boot. And that actually came from, again, since it's a reuse of this body for the earlier Wally. And I think they used this one other time, too, to make a Blue Lantern Wally West. But I don't have that one. I think that was an Amazon exclusive, if I remember correctly. But none of the lightning bolts that he comes with look to me like they're supposed to peg in. So they all look like they're ones that just kind of wrap around various parts of the figure. So let's see if we can. I don't know why I'm getting them out of the running pose when I haven't even done that yet. So let's go ahead and get him back into that running pose. All right, so we can see if we can get these onto him. Hopefully they should look pretty cool. So yeah, I found him yesterday while I was at Walmart, and because the Flash is one of the few characters that I don't really have like a good classic vanilla Flash. I mean, like I had, you know, this Flash obviously, but he's not in the classic Flash costume like this one is. And of course I had the Golden Age Flash, and that's great, but he's the Golden Age Flash. He's not the one I grew up with. I mean, I did grow up with him, but he wasn't like the main Flash that I grew up with. And in fact, Barry Allen wasn't even really the main Flash that I grew up with. I did read some comics with the Flash in them at the time where Barry was still the Flash, but Wally was the first one I really got into as far as like that character goes. So Wally's always the one that I really think of. And like I said, I did enjoy the TV show with John Wesley Shipp, but Barry had been dead for a long time in the comics at that point, like a few years. So there he is with all the lightning bolts streaking off of him. Pretty cool effect. Now, unfortunately, since you know, you want to put them on a peg or on a stand to put them on your shelf, I can't really have the feet bending all the way down like that. So he's got to kind of, if you want to put them on the shelf, I think that should be stable enough. He can stay up. We'll move that lightning bolt a little bit but yeah, you can still get him in a pretty cool running pose as far as that goes. You know, the Kid Flash figure didn't come with any lightning bolts, but I guess that makes sense. I didn't really think about that too much at the time. I guess that makes sense because, you know, there's a Bronze Age figure, specifically from a Bronze Age story. And like I said, they didn't draw him like that back then. This is This is something they started doing like in the 90s sometime, I think. So, but yeah, he's pretty awesome, and I think he'll look really good with the rest of my Justice League. That's what I'm talking about. I want a Flash to go with my Justice League, and obviously you can't put a Justice Society Flash with your Justice League. And this guy, you know, he's pretty cool, but this is more like a guy you would stand with your Titans figures. And technically, this is, like I said, from a Titans series, but it's still like, you know, aesthetically, that traditional, you know, silver/bronze age sort of Flash. Now you can see a lot of the elements, like I was talking about, with there's a lot of influence of the Justice League Unlimited animated version. Like the emblem is definitely the one that he had in Justice League Animated and that sort of thing. So I think a lot of fans who maybe not necessarily fans of the comic book, but they would have remembered Wally from the cartoon, they would recognize this version of him and be like, oh, hey, yeah, that's the Flash. So, yeah, he looks pretty cool. Let's go ahead and have a look at him, since I have like a few heroes that I would have in my Justice League display. Let's go ahead and have a look and see what he looks like next to, say, Wonder Woman. Pretty good. And here is Martian Manhunter. And we also have Green Lantern. So there he is next to Green Lantern. And if you want to do more of a 90s Justice League display, looks pretty cool next to Kyle Rayner, too. And, of course, Wally was the Flash during that run of JLA, the Grant Morrison JLA kind of run. So I feel like that's an appropriate look. So do I recommend this figure? Of course I recommend this figure. Everybody's got to have, if you're collecting DC characters, you want to have the Flash as part of your lineup. Even if it's not like one of your favorite characters, he's just like an essential character as far as that goes. Like you got the big seven of the Justice League. You gotta have obviously Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You gotta have Green Lantern. You gotta have Aquaman. You gotta have Martian Manhunter, and you gotta have the Flash. So I think that this is a good one to have in there. There was, if you're into Barry Allen, if you absolutely have to have a Barry Allen figure, there was, I believe it was a Flashpoint Barry Allen that was like a Target exclusive. I saw him once, and I didn't have the money for him at the time, so I wasn't able to get that one. I would have liked to have had that one. Like I said, I'm more of a Wally guy than I am a Barry guy, but I still would have liked to have had that figure. And if I saw him again at some point in the future and I had the money to pick him up, I'd go ahead and do it. But since I am more of a Wally guy, I would definitely want to have this guy also. And if I could only pick one between Barry and Wally, I'm gonna go with Wally. That's just me. So yeah, great job on this figure. Like I said, mostly a repaint, but it's a good repaint. I like the colors on this one; they pop really well. So even if you already have this one, it's definitely worth picking up this one. So that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you like and subscribe. All the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure and what you think about the character of the Flash and Wally West in general. I want to hear what you think. And that's pretty much it for this episode. We will talk to you next time. Bye.